Printify is the staple of my business. But even using it daily for months, it took me an extremely long time to figure out all the settings and exactly how Printify worked. So I wanted to share that with you today so you don't have to make the same mistakes that I did early on trying to figure out what certain settings mean within Printify. And if you don't know me yet, my name is Christina. I am a full-time print-on-demand seller and now also teacher as well. And I am a huge fan of Printify. I have used many other different print-on-demand suppliers before. I even started my shop with Printful. But after testing many different suppliers and just going through their quality, their customer service, their platform, I just always ended up coming back to Printify. And really the number one reason, there's many reasons, but the number one reason is they have unmatched customer service, which is huge with print on demand because you're going to be dealing with a lot of customer service. So if you have someone else that is great at responding and helping you with your issues quickly, then Printify is that platform. So first of all, what is Printify? Printify is a print-on-demand supplier, meaning that they will print and ship your products for you automatically. So they have a back-end system that helps your orders funnel through and they take care of it without you having to worry about sending it into production. You don't have to print it. You don't have to ship it. So how it works: you customize any of the products that they offer with some of your designs. You can order samples of your product to see how it will print for people. I don't recommend doing this for all of your designs because there's going to be a lot and that's going to be expensive. You publish it, and for us, we are going to be publishing to Etsy, but you can to Shopify, you can to Walmart, eBay, any of the selling platforms that they offer. Mine of choice is Etsy. And then you do nothing while they print and ship your product for you, send it out, and even update your Etsy. So you have to do nothing once you get an order. So here's the Printify platform. I'm not using my print-on-demand store to keep my store name and my customers' store names or their personal details under wraps. So this is one that isn't really linked to my Etsy as much. This is my teaching Printify, I call it. But first, once you create an account, what you can do is you want to hook up your platform of choice for selling on Printify. So you can go into your stores and hit add a new store. And from here, you can connect your storefront, which should already be set up. So you have Shopify, Etsy, they just introduced Walmart, Squarespace, and many different options. So just connect that and then grant the permissions. Once all your details are filled out, how you're going to pay, your store information, etc., it's time to start listing products. Ideally, I'm not counting the design here. You should be designing. I like to design in CANVA, but save your file as a high quality, transparent PNG file. And then in Printify, let's find a product that we want to sell. So here are all the options for different things that you can sell within Printify. Let's just do t-shirts to keep it pretty basic. So I'm going to go over into t-shirts. It doesn't always matter between men's and women's because a lot of their products are unisex, but you do have to read the name. So my favorite t-shirt to sell is the Bella Canvas 3001. So I'm going to click into this. They also have tons of different color options and lots of print providers, which is important. Clicking into here, you can see that they have tons of different print providers. So how Printify works is they don't have their own production companies. They hire other printers to bring into the platform to help supply our products. So they kind of deal with the logistics of printing for us. But you can see the reviews here. And if you hover over it, you can also see what their score is for different kind of criteria. So quality, production speed, stock reliability. And this is based on the last 4 weeks of performance. So these can change up a bit because some printers sometimes have issues, like Monster Digital here last year had a big issue with shipping and things getting held up at the border. So they dropped significantly. One of my favorite suppliers is SwiftPod, who recently also had a major issue with their system, causing a lot of duplicate orders or orders with multiple products to not print right. So even though they're my favorite, you can see they are not high on this list right now. Well, here they are. They've got an 8.0 rating. They are rising. They were at like 7 a week ago. So because it's based on 4 weeks of data, that really bad week they had is starting to funnel out. So these probably will be raising. But the reason I like to use them is because of all of these color options that they have. Dream Junction is decent as well. My other favorite is Monster Digital. You can see that they are just doing great right here. Duplium is fantastic too. The only issue is they are located in Canada. So if your main market is the USA, so most of your customers are from the USA, you don't really want to be shipping from Canada because then you have to deal with customs issues. So I use Duplium as a backup sometimes, but it is not my main supplier, even though they are fantastic. You can also see that they are a little bit pricier than the other printers. So that should also be a big factor. You can see here, there's from USD 8.75. If you upgrade to Printify Premium, Printify Premium is $29.99 a month, but it gives you 20% off all of the products on Printify, which is huge. You don't really want to get Printify Premium as soon as you start selling because it's not worth it yet. But once you start selling $150 worth of Printify merchandise, not including shipping, then it makes sense mathematically to start paying for Printify because the more sales you get, the more you'll get off. So it starts tipping the scale of your savings are larger than what you're actually paying for Printify Premium. Once you've picked who you want to supply your product, we're going to go into start designing. Just give it a second. And then you can go ahead and add in your photo or your design through My Device and then bring in the file that should be saved onto your desktop or your files or somewhere. And remember that it needs to be a PNG file with a transparent background so that nothing is showing up, like you don't have a white box around your design. That is very important. It is not good to be printing with a background for print on demand or just merchandise in general. Okay, go ahead and add in your design. So here's my design for you guys, but this will be your design. See your design here. I'm just going to make sure that it is centered. You can also use the buttons down here if you want to just align it. So here you go, this centered it for me. If I wanted it centered this way, but I kind of usually like it higher up on the shirt. To add more colors, it's a drop down here. You can add all the colors, but you're going to see an issue here if I add black because my design is no longer showing up. So I do want a version of my file that is white, and to be able to add that in, just select that. And under here, there's a make specific design for black. I'm going to click that. I'm going to delete this and upload my new design. And then bring it to the same area. You can see the sizing here. So 15 by 15, scale 90, position 699. So you can use those to line it up if you would like. And there we go. Now we have the same shirt on black and white, but it'll actually print well on both products. So let's just go ahead and save that now. From here, you can actually go ahead and add any titles, your descriptions. You can change pricing from here. You can also hide in store. Hide in store makes sure that your product doesn't go right to your live listings, but instead goes to your drafts so you can edit it first before setting it live. You can choose what you want to show. If you want to show all variants as available for purchase, even if they're sold out currently by this supplier. Or if you only want to show in-stock variants. The problem is Printify does not automatically update your Etsy listing when this changes. So if a product, a large white, is out of sale or out of stock right now, and you hit this, then people aren't going to be able to buy the large white shirt. But if it ever becomes available, then they're not going to know. They're not going to see it. You're going to have to know to manually go in here and republish, which is just a pain. So for me, I like to do all variants available for purchase and just have backup suppliers just in case. I know the large white, someone else will have that in Printify, so it's fine for me. And then you can either have them create a new shipping profile for you, or you can create one in Etsy and then have that, it'll show up here and you can just select that from now. And let's go ahead and publish. When you get an order, within a few hours, it should show up under here, your orders, Printify orders. You should see, usually it will say on hold if you are checking this right away. And the reason it shows up as on hold is because of a setting that you have set automatically on your Printify account, which doesn't send a product to print until 24 hours after they've received the order, so that you're allowed to go and make changes within those 24 hours. But you can change that if you prefer to just send things within an hour, so you don't want to have to keep going in and hitting submit, or you can wait the 24 hours. But to change that, let's go in to manage my stores. If you just hit the little settings button here, go down to preferences. I'm going to explain order routing in a second. But right here, order approval. So automatically it's set to every 24 hours. That's when things will get sent to print. You can change it into an hour. So an hour after Printify receives it, they're going to send it to print automatically every time, or manual. I prefer to keep it at 24 hours because I've noticed people do sometimes make changes right after they've made their order for some reason on Etsy. Or you can just set it to 1 hour, which really is a preference up to you. Then there is order routing. Order routing means that, say a product has run out of stock. So let's go back to the large white example. So someone ordered a large white shirt from you, but Monster Digital, who I selected as my main printer, is out. Order routing is going to automatically send it to a different printer that has that in stock, and they can print it for you. I prefer personally not to keep order routing on, because if I get an order, sometimes they will route it. Even if it wasn't out of stock, they do it kind of just to manage the timelines with everyone, but then you don't get a say in who is printing your product. And I have a few suppliers that are just low rated that I haven't liked in the past that I don't want this to be sent to. So I prefer to turn this off. And then if I get an order that is out of stock, there will be a button that shows up that says find an alternate supplier. I'll click that and it'll give you a list of everyone else who can print it. And then I can personally pick myself who prints that product for me. So this is another preference of yours. It is an extra step, but I just like to have that extra little bit of control. There is also ship from address. So this shows to people as what the return address is. So right now it's going to show from where it was shipped from Printify. The problem is if on Etsy, someone returns a product, you won't get it and Printify isn't keeping it. I don't know where it goes. Honestly, it probably goes to the trash. So if someone returns something, you're never seeing it. But you can change this to your own address so that when people are sending in returns, if you allow for returns, then it'll be sent to your address. So at least you have a shirt. Coming back to our orders, say you had an order come through, but it isn't showing up on this page. You can come on over to other orders. So other orders picks up other products or other sales that you got on Etsy, but they aren't matching a Printify SKU. I'll show you where to find the SKUs, but automatically your SKU is included in your Etsy listing if you are posting it through Printify. But if for some reason that SKU was mismatched, it's wrong, you made a change and deleted it, then what's going to happen is your order is going to come here to other orders. And from here, what you can do is you can select product instead. So you can select either one of your existing products, say like the one that we just made. I know that based on their Etsy order, they purchased a white large. So I can do white, large. Or if this is a custom order, if you haven't made it yet, you can also go onto catalog and just make it from here. So let's press all these buttons, say this is what I know that they wanted. We liked our Monster Digital today, so let's do that. And then you can select the color they did. And then it's going to bring you back to the page where you can actually add the file and then just set it from here so it doesn't save as a product. And it's just an easier way to do one-off orders. Talking about SKUs, SKUs are the numbers that are going to show up on your Etsy listing for the back end to tell Printify what product size and color was ordered. If any of those are different, if the SKU is different and it points to a different color, the SKU is going to change. It needs to be the exact design, the exact color, the exact size. So Printify has one product they know to print if they see an order with that SKU come in. So I can see here is my SKU for a small black, a small soft cream, a small white. So automatically my Etsy listing published from Printify is going to have these SKUs in, but if for some reason they're missing, you need to match this up. So on your Etsy listing, for this size, for the small black, you need to put in this SKU so that Printify knows where and what to print. If this is missing or wrong, again, it's going to come into other orders and never print correctly. Another thing I want to bring to your attention is what happens if you want to make changes to your listing or your product after it's already been published. The problem is if we go make changes and just hit publish right here again, even though it's already been published, it's going to overwrite everything in Etsy, even including our photos, which we do not want. If we spend time already adding in our mockups, our titles, our tags, our descriptions, and they aren't actually in Printify, by publishing again, it's going to overwrite our Etsy listing. So say, for example, I wanted to add in the color. Let's add in an ash color here. And I want this to start showing up in my Etsy listing. What I can do down here is you're going to see, so now we have a new product showing up. So we have ash. We want this live. So at the bottom here, it's funny how many people miss this. I actually did not ever recognize these check marks until literally a few months into my journey. And I've posted videos about this, and so many people who work on Printify skip over these. I don't know why. They just do not catch your attention at all. But by unchecking these, you can republish and resync things up without overwriting everything. So I don't want to rewrite my title. I don't want to overwrite my description. I don't want to overwrite my mockups, but I do want to sync up the new colors, sizes, prices, and SKUs that I added in there. So maybe here, I'd probably also make sure I set my pricing here. Let's do, there we go. And now I can republish again and not worry about losing all of the data or all of the things I had just spent time creating in Etsy. So don't worry if you need to make changes, it is still possible. If in Printify you ever want to duplicate a product, you could do this to either keep the same settings and you're just going to change the design. Perhaps you want to duplicate it to test with another supplier. What you can do is just hit these two buttons here, little pages. That's going to copy our product. So now we have copy of, I should have added a name. And then say for this, either I want to go change the design, I can by hitting edit design. But say for this case, I want to have an option to change the supplier. So in this copy, I don't want it to be Monster Digital. I want this to be supplied by, I'm going to hit replace. And I want Awkward Styles to print this instead. Or sorry, Duplium, since it's just changed. And then it is missing a color. This doesn't have the soft cream, so that isn't going to appear. And I would make sure going through all the colors to make sure that the right color is printing, so you're not having a black on black. It usually picks it up, but sometimes it doesn't, so just go through it. And then make sure the placements didn't get all mixed up. And then save product. If you did make an order, and your Etsy customer sends you a message saying, I ordered the wrong size. Can you please change this to a medium? It is still possible as long as the order hasn't been submitted. This is going back to that 24 hours versus the 1 hour window. Sometimes you can still cancel it, but often once it's already started going into production, it is very hard to change, and it's a luck of the draw. You'd have to cancel the order, duplicate it, and then hope for the best. But if you didn't send it to print yet, and they have a issue and want to say change the color, change the size, you can go into the order, hit edit order. And then from here, we can just change this up. We can do black, we can do extra large, we can delete this, we can add in a different product instead if we'd like, but changes are still possible to make after the order has gone through, but not as easy to make as when it's been sent into production. That is pretty much the most of the settings that I can think of now. If you did have any questions, let me know in the comments below and I will write back to you, because I think by now, pretty much done every mistake, had to make every single change, done so many different things within Printify with my it's a year and a half pretty much of using Printify literally every single day. I have opened thousands of chat supports. And like I said at the beginning, their chat support is incredible. It is usually live. Sometimes they do not have the live chat open, but it is very rare. Sometimes it's just if they're busy or certain times of the day, if there is no staff on hand at the time where you can send them a message, or just wait an hour or two and the chat box will be up. But if there's ever an issue or a question you have, just open up the merchant support right here. You can do I need help with, say delivery and shipping, anything, type in their message and they will get back to you super quickly. And if there's anything that they can help out with, they will. And again, this is the number one reason why I always end up coming back to Printify, is because their customer service is unmatched compared to I've tried quite a few guys, quite a few different print providers or print on demand suppliers out there. All right, guys, those are all the buttons and the different settings I could think of right now. But again, like I said, let me know if there's anything I missed in the comments below. And if you aren't using Printify yet, I would look into it if you are considering doing print on demand. You can watch some different YouTube videos out there. This one, I have another one on Printful versus Printify and when one should use one or the other. But again, Printify is mine of choice. For those who are using Printify already, I hope there was something in here that was helpful and new to you. Thank you guys so much. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe.